Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Outside Shots. Your man Eddie Johnson is here. Jump Shot A on Twitter. Follow him. I'm Saul Bookman. And as always, we're brought to you by the good folks at OG's, the best edible in the game. And as always, we'll get to them in a second. But right off the top, let's just talk about this before we get into anything else. We've been saying all season long that it's not necessarily who the best team is. It's kind of like who can get to the end the healthiest. And today is another example of that. This morning with Karl-Anthony Towns having an injured or, a damaged meniscus and will have to go through surgery. You don't know what the timeline is on his return. It could be anywhere from 4 weeks to, hell, Damian Lee's been out for 6 months now. You know what I mean? So your initial reactions to that news?
Devastating for Minnesota. They've had a tremendous year. Like, you don't wish ill will on any opponent. You just don't. I didn't do that as a player. What I would do, though, if they did get injured, then I would say, okay, we need to take care of them. But you want to face a team at their best. In Minnesota, man, to their credit, man, they've done it the right way. I think Finch is definitely in the running for Coach of the Year. Karl-Anthony Towns made an adjustment and backed up and said, Anthony Edwards, this is your team. Rudy Gobert really is having a tremendous defensive year. He might get Defensive Player of the Year. And Karl-Anthony Towns he's gone through it. And to have an injury this late in the season, man, to where now, the timeline is you might not recover before playoffs, has to be devastating for him, especially from a guy that really, has not had much success in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's what you play for. And so it's sad to see that and hear that. I would imagine if it's a meniscus, it's going to take him out, the end of the year. And playoffs start next month. Playoffs literally, NBA playoffs, people, starts next month.
5 weeks.
Starts next month, okay? Season's almost over. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, this season has blown past so freaking fast. It's ridiculous, man. And so, yeah, thoughts and prayers with Karl-Anthony Towns. He's a tremendous young man, too. I know his dad. His dad is a friend of my radio show, matter of fact. And just, sad to see that happen.
Yeah, it really is. Like you said, I want everybody at their best. I want everybody at their peak. That to me is great basketball. And so to have a team like this, it is unfortunate. 60 plus games through the season, and all of a sudden you get hit with this kind of bomb. You just got to imagine that's going to be really tough for Minnesota to overcome. But, in relation to us, it's hard for us to feel too bad because we've been going through it as well all season long with guys, injured off and on. And right now Devin Booker's out, but before that it was Beal. And it's been a nonstop parade of injuries for this franchise. But let's talk about the other night in Denver and how they were able to overcome Devin Booker being injured. I thought that was their best performance of the season in terms of overcoming adversity. Not necessarily like their best game of the season, but in terms of weathering the storm that came in the fourth quarter, despite the fact that you were not shooting very well, or they weren't shooting good at all in the fourth quarter, but they were able to get through it and win a huge game on the road in Denver against the defending champs. I know you watching the game have your own opinions about what you saw. We'll get to the fourth quarter in a second, but overall, what did you think about how they really bounced back?
No, I thought it was a tremendous game. Come on, you're going into Denver, one that altitude. They're the world champion. They rarely lose at home. All the things that were going against the Suns, Devin Booker out, and defensively, they went in there and they were on point.
Yeah,
I think that was the best game of the year defensively. Everybody seemed to have the rotations down. They were committed. They didn't let Denver dominate them on the glass. Nurkic was unreal. It's just like, you don't want to have to double Jokic. And I think it made it tough. KD's defense, Aaron Gordon was invisible most of the game.
Yeah, he was.
So, I mean, it was their best effort to win a game. Not pretty, not always pretty with our team this year, but the defense was consistent the entire game, and that's what got them to win.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I thought I did think that was their defensively their best effort for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I have, and we're also going to get to Nurk in this episode as well, but like I don't know if I really appreciated Nurk to the degree that I should have appreciated him until the last maybe week or so, and watching how significant this team can kind of not drop off, but it hurts them when he's not in that lineup, especially seeing how he played against Jokic the other night and the physicality that he provides against Jokic. Jokic even said in a presser yesterday that he named off 4 players that he thought were the toughest to go up against. Mm-hmm. He said Embiid. He said Steven Adams, and there was one other player, and then he said Nurkic, and he's very tough there. And it's not tough in terms of like these guys always play well against him. It's tough because they're so physical, they're strong enough to really absorb the contact that he tries to put on those players. And I really just was impressed by his effort, even though he fouled out. I like what he brings to the team. And then on top of that, like you said, I thought, man, Grayson Allen, I think that's something that was kind of overlooked in this game to a certain degree, because he was so hot earlier in the game, and then, didn't really do too much scoring-wise in the second half of the game. But his defense, I thought, was just as important as the offense in this game. And nobody's really talking about that. I thought he held up very well multiple times against not only Jamal Murray, but the other guys on that team. I thought that was probably one of his best defensive efforts as well.
No matter what Grayson Allen, and Grayson, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club of people putting you in a role, and when you do something outside the role, it's hard for them to really give you a pat on the back.
Yes.
Because they don't believe you can do it. And and that's part of keeping you in place of where you are. And that's always the toughest battle for a role guy. Trust me, I epitomize that. No matter what I did as a player defensively, I never got the accolades that say, quote unquote, Dan Marley would get.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I was a better equal defender than Dan Marley, but it's times that I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a good job in shutting down the guy I was guarding, but I would never get that. And sometimes you have to get to the point where you just have to accept it and understand that's just a part of how people view you. But Grayson Allen, all he does is compete on defense, and that's what you need to do.
Do you think it's because, okay, that's a very interesting point. So I thought a lot about this before. I've always thought about this in regards to Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan was a great player, obviously. And defensively, he was very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think sometimes people took that for granted because maybe he made it look easier than other guys in terms of his activity.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was more efficient defensively than other guys in terms of holding up. Do you think that there's, from the eye test, you're looking at you guard somebody versus Dan Marley, and Dan Marley was largely viewed as this, this overachiever type of player, and his activity, diving on the ground for loose balls, and he had to do more to try and stay in those games than I think somebody like of your caliber. That's just my opinion. And do you think that that's what ultimately hurts that perception of you versus him when it comes to defensive activity?
Well, I think that, but I think more so is you got levels of how players are viewed, right? You're an average player, above average player, star, superstar, okay? And in my career, I teetered between above average and star, okay? In my prime, when I was in my mid-20s, I was scoring 20-plus a game. I was getting accolades as one of the top small forwards in the game, but I wasn't winning. But individually, I was getting these accolades, right? And so what happens is they tend to try to keep you in that place, because if you improve in a certain area, then you elevate, right? So a star, if he wins a championship, all of a sudden now he's viewed as superstar, i.e. Devin, i.e. Tatum, so if they can start getting titles, then they move up a notch, right? And so it's hard for them to move you up a notch, because then you're better than what people have viewed you as. And it's always tough. And so you get stuck in what they view you as. So with me personally, they viewed me as a scorer, right? Nothing else. So they had to be critical. So they would always be critical of the thing that they like to be critical about me. Oh, you got to get defense. And that's how they do it. Dan Marley, great defender, right? What were they critical of with him? His shooting.
Yeah, outside of the three, yeah.
His shooting. So it just like they try to keep you in your place. Gary Payton's the perfect example. Gary Payton came in the league, man. I'm telling you, he wasn't a good shooter, didn't want to shoot. He was the number 2 pick in the draft.
He was a great scorer.
Highly thought of, but not his first 2 years. I played with him. He was very shy about scoring. And there were certain situations he could put in that he wasn't fluid. And so people would criticize him. And they put him at a point where they're like, yeah, he can defend. He's a great defender, but his handle's not that great, or he can't distribute like Nate McMillan, who he was replacing, and he couldn't score. And what did Gary do? Gary all of a sudden improved his scoring, right? Improved how to facilitate better, and he's Hall of Famer. So the climb to get there is normally tough. And so for a guy like Grayson, no matter what he does, he's going to get stuck in that bubble of, he's undersized, he can't defend, or, label, he's dirty. I mean, it's hard to shake how people view you. And the greats, the all-time greats, they get away with it. You mentioned Michael. I love Michael to guard me the first 3 quarters. Loved it, because he was gambling. He was focused on he had to score, which he did. And I could get my numbers. Now, fourth quarter, when he said, okay, I'm done with you, it was tough to score, right? So it's like certain guys that you didn't mind, guarding you. Kiki Vandeweghe to me was the hardest player to guard ever. I'd rather guard Michael Jordan than guard Kiki Vandeweghe.
Why is that?
Because Michael Jordan is going to take a shot in 1 or 2 dribbles. He's not going to fatigue me.
Okay.
He's not going to fatigue me. Kiki Vandeweghe is doing this. That's like guarding Steph.
Yeah.
You would, you'd rather guard Andrew Wiggins, right, than have to guard Steph. But Steph takes it to a crazy level. He's an all-time great, but you get what I mean. Players don't want to be moving the whole game. And so you had your energy to go do what you needed to do.
Yeah. And
so, so Grayson has to just deal with that. But man, just get back on him. He has been tremendous. People might have looked at that as a throw-in to that trade. No, it was not.
I think he was just equally as valuable as Nurkic has been.
That was a huge pickup. Huge pickup, man. And he's so professional, man. There's a guy, he does smile, people. He does. But he is just so concentrated in his game. He's professional. He's focused. I wish he would smile more. I wish he would be a little theatrical, because I think it loosens you up. I think sometimes you can get a little uptight, and I think he went through a stretch here recently where he missed 8 threes in the Rocket game, and he couldn't make a shot, and that's when you need to have that looseness about you. That's what allows Devin to get hot within the game, and KD is different. KD is just like Grayson, but KD loosens up more so by his conversations with opponents. You don't see it, but he's out there talking, and so you got to try to distract your mind. I wish Grayson would do more of that, and not get caught into a mini slump. That's what you call it, mini slump. But no, I love what he's done, man. And his defense was on point.
Yeah, it was. He gets a lot of flack. It's so funny. We watch these, we do these post-game shows, and in the chat, a lot of people constantly go after Grayson, saying that he's a pigeon on defense and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, first of all, when he steps up to try and take on the challenge of going up against usually the other team's best player, he's not going to win every single time, but I think he does just enough to force guys into other positions for them not to be able to take full advantage of his maybe limited athleticism versus that opponent, right? I think Grayson's a very athletic guy. Personally, I think he's a very good player, but I think people try to point that out, and I'm like, listen, I think Grayson Allen is not going to be the greatest one-on-one defender ever. He's just not. But he is a solid defender, and on top of that, he's a tremendous team defender. Like his help side defense, his instincts, his intangibles are second to none. And so I see it all the time in the chat after games, and Psycho Blues asking like, who is saying PGA is a pigeon? Trust me, look in the chat after a game. A lot of people are always trying to get on Grayson for defense, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. He takes on the challenge, and you want your players to take on challenges.
Man, just play hard, man.
For real.
Look, the word perfect, well, I'll continue to say it on this show, is a lie. Nobody's perfect. Even the greatest players are not perfect. Okay? They're not. Shaq was a great player. Was he perfect, people? He couldn't make free throws. Okay? He made them late. He made them when they counted, but he didn't make free throws. Was Larry Bird perfect? No. He was slow, a foot, but he used his slowness to beat you. Like, it's things you could take advantage of guys with. Magic Johnson didn't have a pure jump shot, but he's an all-time great. Like LeBron, he's a perfect example. LeBron, early in his career, say he couldn't shoot, right? And you're right, he couldn't. He wasn't a good shooter, right? Especially mid-range or three, right? He's a driver of the ball. Free throws have been up and down in his career, but he scored 40,000 damn points. So it's no perfection. There was only one man that walked this earth that was perfect. So everybody's going to have blemishes. Coach is going to have blemishes. Everybody is. What you want to do is make sure that your blemishes does not lead to losses. Like you do so many more good things than bad things that it justifies you being on the court.
Yeah.
And that's all you can wish for. Like, I knew personally what would keep me on the floor. I had to rebound. And I rebound. I would go chase rebounds. Like, I knew if to counteract what they thought of me defensively, so I knew if I was out there rebounding, he couldn't take me out because I'm scoring and I'm rebounding. You're doing two things. As long as you're doing two or three things and not just one, then they can't pigeonhole you and start doing that, at the end of games, bringing you in and out, offense, defense, and all of that. You got to justify why you have to stay. And that's for young people, parents out there watching us. You teaching your kid, you got to teach him. He's got to be good at two or three things at the game. He doesn't have to be good at all of them. But in order to play consistently, he's got to be good at a couple of things.
Okay. Well, hey, we got some super chats about that very topic. We got Cycle Blue at the top says, I feel as if the Suns defense has been more consistent and overall better than their offense throughout the season. That's either a compliment to Vogel or an indictment on KY and the injury issues. I think their defense has been, I don't know. I think their defense has been just as inconsistent as their offense from time to time. I don't really feel like one's been dramatically better than the other to me. I don't know. What do you feel about that?
Well, I think the turnovers has caused the defense to look bad. I think when they don't turn the ball over, what if it's a controlled turnover, meaning, offensive foul, throw the ball out of bounds, and you can set your defense. I think they've really tried to work defensively. But, yeah, it can get better, and it's gotten better at times. And it's supposed to get better as everybody stays healthy. Unfortunately, that has not been the case. But, I just think turnovers makes their defense look bad.
Yeah.
Because turnovers are leading to baskets. Yeah. And against the Rockets the other night, 31 points off turnovers. And still, Oklahoma City.
21 turnovers.
31 points off turnovers, Oklahoma City. And we were up 6 points in the fourth quarter. That's it, man. If you don't turn it over, man, this team, you can tack on. I think the Suns, based on turnovers, they've probably lost 9 to 10 games this year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That would put them basically, people understand this.
At
Now
the
do
top
the
of the Western
math.
Conference.
Be at the top of the Western Conference. That's how close it's been.
But you know what they say. If ifs were a fifth, we'd all be drunk. Right?
I wouldn't get drunk.
Right, Devin?
No, I drink
Right,
a fifth.
Devin?
I drink a fifth. I ain't getting drunk. Hey man, why is this crooked? Can I straighten this
Go
out?
ahead, go
This
ahead.
bothering me.
It's our producer who's being lazy today.
It's
I don't
bothering
know what
me,
to say
man.
about
I mean, this seems like you so concentrated on focusing the camera when I got in here, but you can't even fix the all
Eddie,
city.
you
I
bus.
want to
can't-
make
no,
sure
this
you
is-
look good,
No,
man.
first of all, you can't throw him under the bus when you're late.
I was not late.
Oh my God, he was late.
I was at the door. I knew you weren't ready. I was
I
doing
knew
something
you
on the
weren't
phone.
ready. We were ready to go.
I
We
was
just
a
had to
minute.
focus
I
the
came
camera.
in a minute and a half
Listen,
late.
he has to make you look good.
The camera automatically focuses on me, dude. When I walk in the room, the camera just
Oh,
I
my
might just make it
goodness.
blurry next time.
there he is. There he is.
Perplex Damage with a super chat, $5 super chat. I give Grayson 100 for taking challenges of going to try to drive and dunk. Yes, 3-pointers are great. I respect his blocks and dunks. Psycho Blue with a
I got to
10
talk to him about the left hand.
Oh man,
He
I-
had him.
I know he did.
I'm sitting at home and like, Grayson, you had him. Because he went in with the right and he went for it. Boom, man, just lay it up left. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
But he wanted to get that. He
But
hey, you know how it is. Come on, you know how it is.
But he
You're out
knew
there,
in his
like,
mind.
oh.
Grayson knew in his mind he was in trouble. That dude,
But it looks better
that
if you miss
dude
the dunk.
Najee, that dude Najee can jump.
Yeah.
He knew he was in trouble, man. Let's go to the left. He doesn't use the left hand much. You got it. That left hand going.
Psycho Blue with another super chat says, EJ, who's the better league rep, Kiki or Dumars? Also, both those guys in their prime would be top 10 players in today's game.
Both are very good friends of mine. I think they're both tremendous. They were tremendous players, tremendous people, truly. I know Kiki a little bit more than Joe, but, you know, I love Kiki Vandeweghe. Kiki Vandeweghe basically, in a lot of ways, saved my career. You know, because I went, you know, this man was abusing me like no other.
Mm-hmm.
And my first year in the league, and I told my assistant coach, I said, man, I gotta go to Pete Newell's camp. So, cause he and Purvis Short, man, they just working me over. And I went. Adrian Dantley too in there, but I went to his camp. And you know what? Kiki Vandeweghe, man, work with me. That's an opponent. Like, work with me. Showed me stuff. And he didn't have to do that. And I went from 9 points a game to 20 the next year. And I give that all to Kiki Vandeweghe and Purvis Short. Love them both to death. But no, Kiki did a tremendous job in the NBA office. He's enjoying himself right now, and good for him.
Yeah. Perplex Damage says, producer Eric, look up EJ's top game of rebounds. Is it over or under 9.5 in a game? I'm going to say it's over. Yeah, at least one double-digit rebound game, right?
Are you kidding me? All you had to do is go to freaking Basketball Reference.
That's what he's doing right now.
Well, obviously he would have saw 15.
Do you remember against who?
Multiple times. I think I had the 15 against.
The one they have
It
listed
could have
on
been
here.
the Lakers. I think I had 15 or 16 against Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's the one they have on here at 15
and I had
rebounds.
about how many points? I had about 30.
They don't have the points for that game.
Yeah, I had a triple-double, matter of fact, against the Lakers. Only triple-double I ever had.
Oh.
And I think I had like 14 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. So you guys got to go do your research, man. EJ can rebound the ball, man.
Well, not only that.
EJ averaged almost 2 offensive rebounds a game in his prime.
There's a guy in the chat right
Understand
now.
that.
There's a guy in the chat right now that thinks a little differently. His name's Couch Potato. And Couch Potato, Couch Potato.
What did he say?
I was trying to. There it is. You know who would have been a bad shooter if I was in the league? Eddie Johnson would have been all up in his face like a Medicaid commercial.
He's purposely trolling you. He's couch
I'm
potatoes.
up there. Okay, what?
He's just, he's just being silly.
I think Saul made an account and is commenting in the YouTube stream during the show.
Yeah, I think that is. I think that might be you.
That's not me. I don't have time to be tweeting or chatting during the show.
Medicaid. You know what? I finally officially signed up yesterday. I'm in it. I'm in Medicare, not Medicaid. Medicare. Really? Seriously. Man, I don't know, man. I was depressed all yesterday.
Why? Was your birthday yesterday?
No, man, because I had to sign up for Medicare. You have no choice. Oh. They make you. You do know this, right?
Oh, man, I don't want to go there,
No,
man.
bro, you have no choice.
I know, man, but I'm already feeling...
Unless you work, couch potato. If you don't have any Social Security money, and they're not going to let you in, okay? All right? But Eddie got a lot of Social Security money in the government's pockets. Man, that was depressing, man. I'm serious, man. The lady on the phone was like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm all right. Okay. I mean, really?
It sounds like you need to self-medicate. And you can do so by getting some OGs in your system. OG's the best edible game, best edible out there. Go to ogsbrands.com to find the closest dispensary. They got the RSOs, the sativas, the indicas, and they have their new vegan gummy, which comes in a 100 milligram pack with 10 milligram slices. You can enjoy yourself today by going to ogsbrands.com. And remember, you must be 21 and over to enjoy. Also, April 19th is coming fast. And that's Buds-a-Palooza, if you all know what that's all about. It's probably the funnest event I go to every single year, and you should probably go to as well. You should come out with me.
This is why I'm not going out there. Seriously.
Be careful, they're a sponsor now.
No. Look, I have no problem. Look, people, I personally have never gotten high in my life. Never. And I'm serious, never.
I know.
I would tell you it's legal now. Never. Nothing. The only thing I've ever put in my body is obviously drugs from me being sick or whatever. And so, but in regards to getting high, no. I drink a time or two. So, no. But if I go out to one of those deals, because I heard about that deal that they do over in Palm Springs, I heard you could be 2 miles away and you get high.
Wait, you talking about Coachella?
Yeah. Oh, I heard you could be 2 miles. Well, whatever. You got excited by saying it, so I know. And marijuana is legal here in Arizona. I'd be sitting in that audience, man. I'd be like,
well,
you don't even have to do it. It's just like
they did have a little section where they had couches. OGs had this section where they had couches, and I will say, last year, I don't know how long I was on that couch, but it felt like I was on there forever. So,
You know when that stuff is strong. Like, when you know it's strong. And I know this has happened to everybody, so you cannot deny it. You're driving on the highway.
Oh, no.
And a car comes past you, and they got the window down. It permeates your car, going 50 miles an hour. If stuff can hold and smell that long, and you put it in your body. I mean, I'm telling the truth.
I mean, yeah.
I would drive 4 miles and it's in my car and the windows were up. Can they make it smell better?
Oh, I mean, as long as it's not as funky as the Suns' fourth quarter, I'm sure it's all right.
There's a transition right there,
you go.
baby.
You like that? The fourth quarter has been a major problem this year for the Suns. There's nothing to cover that smell up. I'm sorry. But I don't even know what to pinpoint it to. It just feels like I did like their execution against the Nuggets this past game in terms of the operation. Now, the execution of it and the delivery of points is the major problem. But I thought that they got open shots. I thought they got quality shots from time to time. But, some guys just seem like they're going through it. Is this a mental case now? Have we gotten to the point now where we're like, yeah, this is definitely mental, and these guys are definitely thinking, shit, we're in the fourth quarter now?
I don't know, man.
I hope not. Damn.
I don't really like to toot my own horn.
But you will.
I really don't. it's like I have. I mean, it's like I'm giving analogies and whatnot, and I can only reflect back on me. I make fun of myself, and I also will anoint myself.
Okay.
I don't understand it. Like the fourth quarter to me is like that's like
turn up.
That's like that's like after you do an hour and a half concert, you leave the stage, and they want you to come back, and they keep clapping, and you back there. The band didn't leave, and you're like, all right, I go out there and just give them one more song, Like that to me is the fourth quarter, man. Like I would rather not play the first three as long as I can play the fourth. I just think that is like I've never shied away from that. And I know KD doesn't shy away from that. I know Bradley Beal doesn't. I know Devin doesn't. But for some reason, collectively,
bugaboo,
it's just not going. It's a jinx. It's like, and the other night was a perfect example. Like, KD couldn't buy a shot in the fourth. And in overtime, he went crazy. Like, I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, but I understand how KD is one of the best ever. He'll go down as one of the best ever at struggling in a game and then turning it on within the game. Most players, they struggle in the game, they struggle the entire game. Mm-hmm. It might lead to 2 or 3 games, and they're in a slump. KD might get in a slump, but it's a mini slump within the game. So it's not like this crazy major slump. But in that fourth quarter, man, I was feeling for him because he wasn't going to stop shooting because they kept passing him the ball. And he'll tell you, he's going to keep shooting it. Mm-hmm. He's not going to feel bad about it. And I wanted them to save him. And he probably wanted them to save him for a minute or two to get his collective thoughts together. And I remember one play after he maybe missed 2 or 3 and he came down and Bradley Beal came down. I said, Bradley Beal, if you pass this damn ball, if you pass this ball, shoot it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I said it, hit a 3. Like, take the pressure off. And I think that KD was like, okay, good. Okay, I got somebody with me here. And then it got better into the overtime, but they struggle with this, man. I don't know. And it really goes back, believe it or not, a couple of years ago. Dallas.
Oh, you think that's where it started?
Well, that's when it really permeated in our mind, right? I mean, when they went cold in it was that fourth quarter. Remember they made a run to get back in that game 7. They kind of made a little mini run. And then the fourth quarter, they couldn't make nothing.
They just kept, you talking about?
Yeah, they were down a bunch. And then they made a little mini run in the third quarter. They made a little mini run.
Okay.
And then, okay, they can work their way back. We knew it wasn't going to happen, but it happened in the second quarter too. But after that game, it just seems like, and what they went through in that game 7, it just seems like the stench of that just permeated a cloud over this team. And no matter who comes here, it's like, and now it's the fourth quarter. And look, we should have beaten Houston and Oklahoma City by double figures. We should have beaten them by double figures. Like, should have beaten Houston by double figures. Mm-hmm. Okay? Couldn't score in the fourth. And in Oklahoma City, we catch them, go up 6, keep going, and could not.
Yeah.
It just so, it's been a constant, man. And hopefully, we get this rectified come playoff time because guess what? Most playoff games come down to the what?
Yeah, fourth quarter. Yeah. That's an interesting perspective that you got there on that because I kind of viewed it a little bit differently, like kind of the opposite, where I felt like because they had Chris Paul, that they had this sense of confidence that no matter what in the fourth quarter, they were going to be all right. Now, can they get to the fourth quarter in the playoffs without blowing, everything
Chris
getting blown up?
Doing that year, Chris was unreal in the fourth quarter.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why they called them the crunch time Suns or clutch time Suns. And so,
Chris was the one.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, for sure. Now, I don't know if because Chris is gone, all of a sudden, they stumble at the beginning of the season in the fourth quarter, and now it's in their heads that they can't execute as well as they did with Chris. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's necessarily just a point guard thing either, because I feel like listen, I thought that they were getting stagnant on offense too many times in the fourth quarter and just they were predictable on offense too many times. I thought last game they switched it up a little bit. They had a little bit more motion on the offensive side, and it created a little bit more chaos for Denver. Even though they couldn't execute, I thought their process was good. I just didn't like what was going on before that. So I think they're going to be all right. I hope they're going to be all right. And I think Devin's, obviously, when you have all three of them, it's going to help significantly. And I do like your point about Bradley Beal. I felt like he was just deferring way too much sometimes. I don't know why. Sometimes he'll drive the baseline, and sometimes I wonder, and you tell me this, he drives the baseline, he's got to step on the guy, and I know he knows that if he goes up directly, they can time it and block it. But if he just puts his body just a little bit more and kind of, uses his body as a shield to get that ball up, I feel like he can get that baseline reverse layup just about every time he does it.
I think he will. I think he will eventually. I think he mentally, too, wants to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. And he might, maybe detour away from a ton of contact right now. He wants to get some reps into getting healthy. But he's a tremendous driver of the ball. So I'm not worried about Bradley Beal. I just want him to stay healthy and just get his reps. But also is another thing, right? And this is hard, man, but I talked about this yesterday on my show, Sirius XM NBA Radio 4 to 7 today. I give my little plug in there. Is like when you play with great players, it's an intimidation factor. And sometimes you're hard to seize the moment. But that's in every walk of life, right? Mm-hmm. When you are not viewed as the smartest kid in class, a lot of times you're going to defer questions from the smarter kids because you don't want to ask a dumbass question. That was me in school, right? Very shy, just didn't talk much. Believe it or not, people, I didn't. And I didn't have a lot of confidence in talking to a group. And I had to develop it. And the reason why I say that is because it's hard to play with three great players and then do something before they do it. Meaning Grayson Allen still, I think, struggles with just saying, forget it, I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah.
Like, forget it. I think Base Diop, who I thought started to play well, but I thought what hurt him, and maybe he'd still be here, is that he would shy away. Like you could tell that the guy had skill.
Yeah.
He driving left hand, posting people up, but then he would hesitate. You can't hesitate, man. Even if they're all-time greats, man, you got to shoot the ball. And for me, in my career, I had no problem with that. I played with Charles, Dream, and Clyde Drexler. They'll tell you. They had to walk up to me and say, hey, come on, man, calm down. No, I ain't calming down. I'm open, I'm shooting it. Like, I'm not great like you all. You're all Hall of Famers, but if I'm open, I can shoot better than all three of y'all.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot it. Now, Rudy can just take me out of the game, but that's how I viewed it. And so it's hard to get to that point, but Grayson's got to get to that point. I think he's earned that. Mm-hmm. I truly do. I think he's earned that. Like Royce O'Neal's not afraid.
No.
He shoot that sucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he should.
And so that's the point that they have to get to. And if they get to that, then it'll make life a lot easier on KD, Devin, and Brad, because now those three don't feel like they have to dominate.
Yeah.
They know that they can trust that guy. He'll take the shot. Bo's going through that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Bo pass up shots. Shoot it, dude.
Yeah.
Shoot it. And he up faking at 7-3. Shoot it, man. Your role is going to be a scorer. If you're not scoring, he's going to sit you down. Mm-hmm. But while you're out there, do what you do well. Score. And be aggressive. And they have to get to that point.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, Bo, that's a whole nother topic. I'm kind of surprised that Frank is not playing him in the second halves as much as I think he should. But, hey, it is what it is, and I won't complain about it. I also won't complain about the good people over at Four Peaks, because they got a pretty cool event going on this week. This Saturday is their first ever annual Kilt Lifter barbecue competition. Basically, you can buy a ticket for like $5, and you can go to the event and you can sample barbecue from, I think, between 10 and 20 different pit masters that are going to be out there cooking some barbecue.
When is this?
This is this Saturday. This Saturday, yeah, from 11 to 4.
11.
Yeah,
People eat barbecue 11 o'clock.
Come on now, I eat barbecue all day, every day if I could. Shit.
So I was eating pulled pork before you walked in here, man.
11 to 4?
Yeah, 11 to 4. Yeah.
Where is this at now?
This will be over at the Wilson Tap Room, I do believe. Yeah, Wilson Tap Room, which is over there on the south side. If you need the address, you can look it up on.
I got a full day, but, you got to give me the address because if I'm in the vicinity.
Yeah, it's in Tempe.
On my way, because I don't have to work on Saturday. I'm going to the game, obviously. The Celtics coming to town. But, I might, EJ might venture on it and get a little.
You just let me know, and I'll lead the way.
I've been on a diet lately. I was about 10 pounds over, but I go eat some good barbecue.
And now it's a Kilt Lifter event, so Kilt Lifter will be used in a lot of sauces and in various ways. So check it out. It's a fantastic event. Go to @4Peaks Pub or @4Peaks Brew on Twitter, Instagram. And you can find more information, or you can just go to Eventbrite and check out that stuff as well. 4 Peaks, fantastic. They got the new look cans now, the Kilt Lifter, the Suns Brew, the Wow Wheat. They're all a new design, fantastic look. Just remember, if you go out there and you try the Juicy Ale crossover as well with Bad Birdie, you must be 21 and over to enjoy. But all their beverages are fantastic, and I can't wait to go to this event.
I gotta try that. I've never.
Yeah, we got a whole fridge of it. So
you have fridge? I'll take a couple of cans. You never like tell me what you have in the fridge. You normally have stuff in there from 8 weeks ago.
Okay.
But how long has it been in there?
He's not wrong.
How long has it been in there?
We need to refresh our stock. Let me just say that.
How long has it been in there?
It's been in there for a while.
Oh, man. After this show, if I look at the back of that can and I see that it's expired,
no.
I'm gonna report you.
We don't have anything expired because we always keep our shit fresh. But we've had some specialty beers that we just, the holidays and stuff like that, things get a little sidetracked, and then they kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit.
I'm not a beer drinker anymore. I stopped drinking beer because it puts weight on me. So I'm strictly, vodka, soda kind of guy.
All right.
I'll drink. I'll try a little Kilt down.
We got a couple of other super chats right now. We got Purple X Damage saying, producer, we already did that one. Mark my words. I truly believe Bol can make this team nearly unbeatable. I just want Frank to let him build his confidence. It starts with backdoor cuts. That's a good point. Listen, I think Bol could make a significant difference on this team if he's given the opportunity. He's already shown that multiple times this season. That tech the other night was BS.
Well,
man, come on.
Well,
come on, man.
You know what?
Let the kid play a little bit.
I think officials are the wrong people to call hanging on the rim because they can never touch the damn rim.
There you go.
Some things officials just you're not qualified. You're not even qualified. I mean,
well, you know how they made that rule in the first place, right? It's because the broken backboards.
Man,
and,
you can't break these backboards anymore. They have improved them so much. You can't. Look at Nurk, man. I mean, when Shaq broke the backboards, it wasn't that he was hanging on them. It's that he dunked so hard and he grabbed it, and his weight was pulling down on it. That's what made it fall. Doing this is not. That's not going to make it fall. Yeah. Scientifically, I want them to prove to me that makes the rim fall down. I don't believe that at all. So that's I know. I just stared at the official through the TV. If I could have said something to him.
You just mentioned Nurk. You wanted to revisit this a little bit, and so let's break it down. Okay, it's been 3 quarters of the season now out of the way. We can kind of go back and look at kind of the results of the DA versus Nurk trade. Right now, this is the comparison that we have. Obviously, Jusuf and DA points per game. DA's got the advantage by about a couple points. Rebounds per game, relatively the same. Assists per game, advantage Nurk by a couple. Efficiency is the one that throws me off.
Are these stats this year for DA?
This is all right now. This is just this season. This efficiency,
games played,
the efficiency, yes, the efficiency right now is really the one that catches my eye, because when DA was here, his efficiency was down near 70% at the rim. Now it's at a 56.8. Nurk is at a 54, and games played obviously 54 versus 39 for DA, 54 for Nurk. And then you look at the salary, and Nurk is making almost half as much as DA. When you look back at it, and I'm not trying to throw any slander DA's way whatsoever, but I do think that in the long, we were told that Nurk was going to be a better fit for this team. And I do feel that Nurk provides multiple things. One, I think with this offense and the versatility of this offense and the scores that they have, he's a little bit more of a dynamic playmaker for this team. And then two, the one that stands out to me the most is I don't think there's a single player on this team that doesn't feel like Nurk doesn't have their back. You know, whether that be defensively, whether that be getting in scuffles and fights or anything like that. Like, I always feel like Nurk is always going to be there, right? Whereas DA, I just didn't really feel like that. And conversely, I will say this, I don't feel like players had his back either when DA was here. And I do feel like players have Nurk's back. So you take that with what you will. That's just my opinion, certainly not yours. What do you what stands out to you about this comparison now?
You know, we talked about, getting guests on our show, and we're going to start doing that. So to let you all know.
Is the first one going to be DA?
No. The first one is going to be Bill Simmons.
Oh, okay. All right.
First one is going to be Bill Simmons. He and I go back and forth all the time.
Okay.
All the time. He and I have a 2-year text chain going at one another. Obviously, he's a Celtic fan, and he likes to get on our Suns. He likes to be a little critical at times. And before the season, he said he didn't like the trade. And his reason was that Nurk would not play. He'd be injured. He wouldn't play much. Bill, that right there solidifies you have to come on our show now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even asking you. You are coming on our show. Okay? You know why I can say that, right? Exactly. Nurk has been available. And I think, look, Deandre Ayton is an unbelievable talent. And I've told him this to his face. It is not a negative with him in regards to his talent.
Mm-hmm.
What he has to learn as he continues to grow in this league is that he has expectations. And those expectations ramp itself up even more when you get paid.
Mm-hmm. Nobody
owes you anything. The problem with a lot of young players that come into the NBA is they've been getting paid, and they're getting paid like crazy now with the NIL money, that they feel like somebody owes them something. No, nobody owes you anything. You owe them because they're paying you. And when you come into the league, they're paying you for expectation initially in that first contract. They're not, because what did you do? Who cares what you did in college? Nobody care about that. What are you going to do in the NBA? And they're paying you based on really projecting and say he's going to be good, so we're going to draft you here and we're going to pay you this much. Your second contract is when they pay you because they felt you earned it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the focus really shines on you. And that's what DeAndre has to understand. That means you have to show up and play. And he is, have you seen DeAndre stretch it before games?
Mm-mm.
Like a ballerina. Dude limber as I don't know what. Dude can do a split. He has a perfect body for a guy that plays center in this league. Perfect, right? I mean, just can run, can jump. I mean, all of that. And he was never able to sustain it because of injury, because of up and down. And if you want to look back on why you get traded in this league, sometimes you have to be honest with yourself and say, that's why I got traded. I can look back at times when I got traded and say, okay, that's why I got traded. Maybe I could have done something to not let that happen. And I think DeAndre has to understand that. And Nurk We traded for him because we needed something that Deandre wasn't giving us, and that was consistency in the physicality department.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have Bradley Beal and Devin and KD, you don't need anybody that can score a ton. I know DeAndre is going to want his touches, okay? And they really needed him to morph into a great defender, which he's capable of being, a great rebounder, which he's capable of being, okay, and get better as a passer. If he was willing to do that, he'd still be here.
Yeah.
But because it was an issue for him, and he wanted to be an all-star, and he wanted to be this, and that was his road to get to be an all-star, is to score in his mind and not do the things that I'm talking about to get there. Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer and a champion because he just said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not saying that DeAndre was a bad scorer like Ben Wallace was, but we don't know what Ben Wallace could have done because that wasn't his role. So DeAndre's role acceptance was a problem.
Yeah.
Nurk came here and he accepted what he has to do. He complained a little bit that he wanted a couple of more opportunities to score early in the year, and he's gotten them. They heard him, and he's proven that he can, but he's also proven that it didn't take away from all the things that they needed him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Be physical, rebound, be a good passer. And so that's why it's been a good fit. But me saying it's a good fit is not an indictment on DeAndre.
No.
And I think people have to understand that.
I think there's so many different levels to the DeAndre, conundrum. Even if you go to just the contract and whether or not the Suns should have paid max contract money for a guy like DA and all this other stuff. When I look back at it, and I'm fortunate because I was basically with, I followed DeAndre since the time he got to the University of Arizona because I was down there.
Yeah.
I covered him for a whole year.
37-year-old student.
Yeah, 35. Calm down. There's this narrative out there before the draft that he was like this lazy guy. And I just never saw it down there. And because Sean Miller is just not that kind of guy either. Like he just won't accept that. And so he did push DeAndre a lot. And I think DeAndre responded very, very well. But also DeAndre had a lot to play for. He had to, he knew that he could potentially be the number one overall pick. He knew that there was money on the line. He knows what comes with being that number one pick. And so, he rose up to that occasion. And if you just go back and don't watch the Buffalo tournament game because that was just an abomination. But you watch him in the Pac-12 tournament, you watch him that Pac-12 season, he was dominant. He was dominating everybody. Nobody had a chance. He made Chimezie Metu look like he was in junior high when he was playing against him. He was unbelievable. But then he gets here and he gets drafted number one. And the first thing he says is, the goal is to get to that second contract. And I think that set him up for failure right there off the bat. And then the second thing, he keeps going. And I will say this till I'm blue in the face. I've seen the people that have surrounded DeAndre Ayton and advised DeAndre Ayton, and I just do not feel like they truly understand his best interests and how to really push his buttons in order to get the most out of him for him to thrive and therefore make them thrive as well. I think they filled his head up with a bunch of BS. I think they got him gassed up, as they would say, and he gassed himself up as well because he believed it. And he thought that he should be the first or second option on this team when he wasn't. And he didn't play like it. And he didn't dominate like it. And his work ethic didn't match that level of intensity. When you talk about dominating, I think he dominated off the court in terms of his verbal.
Game.
Yeah, but in terms of on the court, I just never saw his desire to want to dominate his competition as much as I thought I would see when he finally got here. So that's the frustrating thing about me. And I love DA. He's one of my favorite people. He's such a good dude if you ever talk to him. But I feel like he's trying to live up to this persona of what people think he should be like and what he thinks it was always going to be like as an NBA player versus what will truly make a difference in his life. And I think those two are not marrying up right now. And he's going to continue to struggle until he can just kind of accept hey, I got to stop living for everybody else and the persona that they think I should be. I got to start doing what I need to do and make myself happy. And it's going to take a little process because I think at some point we will see it. I do believe that at some point we're going to get the very best Deandre Ayton for maybe a couple years, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think it's going to be like when he finally hits 30.
How old is Deandre now?
26. No, he's like 24, 25. 25.
The one thing that I was, and you're right in regards to talent, like, yeah, you get some, in your prime, I always say, if you stay in school 3 years, you come into the league at 21, 22, to me, those are prime years where mind is where it should be. Your maturity level is there. Your understanding of things is there. And from that 22 to 27, 28, those are your prime years, man. Those are the years when you should never get tired. You should feel invincible. You should be just grabbing knowledge. You should have a great, crazy hunger. Like he wants a second contract, third contract. All that is bundled up in that period of time. And normally if you look at Basketball Reference and you look at any great players, you'll see that, look, LeBron's a freak of nature, so don't look at his, all right? But in regards to, and even Jordan's a freak of nature, but he took 2 years off. So it's hard to really, and I'm not getting on him, it's just hard to like to say what it would have been. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he would have still been scoring a bunch, although mentally he needed to get away from the game. So I don't know. But those years, man, is when like you're nasty. Like, and if you're a star, then it'll hit you earlier, like it hit Devin earlier, right? So KD earlier. It'll hit some guys earlier, but mostly it's those years. And like DA is flirting with disaster with that because he's going to lose it, and he's going to lose that opportunity, and he's not going to be able to shake it, man. Telling you, he's just not, man. This game takes so much out of you. You all watch it, and I'm serious, and I'm not saying this because, I'm not going to the water boy culture, the couch potato. I'm not doing any of that. I've been retired for 24 years. I honestly will sit back sometimes, and I look at games, and I say, did I do that? Like, really, I would say that. And I was a guy that played a ton of minutes, played 17, 18 years totally, professionally. But I will look back and I was like, how did I do that? Mm-hmm. Like, how did I navigate that? And I was flying commercial. I wasn't flying charter. We were playing 3 games in 3 nights. And I'm like, I don't know how I did it. But I understand that I did it because I was in such great shape.
Yeah.
It is no better shape than NBA shape. You guys can throw boxing out there. Like, no. They go sit down between rounds for a minute. NBA, you don't sit. And you got to do both ends. You got to play offense, you got to play defense. And it's constant. It's constant. You got to do everything that everybody else does. In football, you don't have to throw the ball. You don't have to throw the ball. You don't have to run the ball. So you don't do everything. In basketball, you do everything the same. And that's what makes it crazy hard, man. You got to be in shape. And I don't know if DeAndre has been in great shape like he needs to be. And I don't know if he loves the game the way he should love the game.
The way we think he should love the game.
Well, yeah. And that's part of the issue, and it's not just him. I played a lot of big guys, man. Big guys have a hard time with that, because a lot of big guys play the game because they were tall.
Yeah.
So you don't know how to gauge their love for it. Like Muggsy Bogues, I knew he loved the game because why on earth would a guy 5'2" want to play that game?
Yeah.
Chris Paul, I know he loves the game. Why would a guy that size want to play this game, knowing he's got disadvantages? Mm-hmm. You got to love it because everybody is 6. Most average people 6'6", 6'3". Look at all the people Chris Paul had to beat out to become a great point guard. It was easy for Magic. Magic was a 6'8", 8.5 point guard. Freak of nature, right? Yeah, they're going to go for that. But 6'2", how many 6'2" guards in the G League can't make the NBA?
A million.
You got to love the game, man. Tall guys, big guys like Deandre, they get in the league because of their height, because of their athleticism, because coaches think they can change them. And a lot of these guys, they get in, man, and they don't last.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that love and desire. And I'm just praying that he grabs that love and desire, man, to like want to play, look forward to playing, and be a leader and put himself on the court. He's in too good a shape, man, to be playing 39 games.
It's really hard to imagine that that's going to happen in terms of finding that inner love and desire for it. If you don't have it, then you don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just what it is, and it's a shitty deal. Point blank, it's just crappy because, you know, like I said, he's a good guy, and we all want him to thrive. We are disappointed that he didn't thrive here, but it is one of those things that, you know, some players just have it and some players don't, and unfortunately, he came with a whole bunch of stuff. What do you got?
Yeah, Mike D, you said soccer. Now you have a point, but it's positions in soccer though. Even though that field is big, they're not running the whole field. You got defense, you got offense.
I mean, but
some guys are in better shape than others.
They are running a lot, though.
Some guys are in better shape than others, but they're running in an area. So that area, you can say they built to run. Like in basketball, it's 94 feet, but when somebody's trying to stop you from running, it's almost like you're running 100 yards because guys are hitting you. Guys are stopping you, impeding your progress. So, yeah, soccer is up there. I would probably say, I think hockey. I mean, there's a lot of sports that you have to be in great shape.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not denying that. I just think basketball is uno. Yeah. I do, because you got to jump.
I judge it by off of how much weight would I lose if I played that sport.
What sport is that?
That's how I judge.
Well, if you box, if you wrestle,
boxing, soccer, basketball. Anytime I've ever played those,
wrestling, I think
it's a workout.
Wrestling is a crazy workout as well. So,
but I'm not psycho enough to do wrestling. Shout out to all you wrestlers, though.
I'd rather wrestle, though. I'd rather wrestle than have to run up and down a basketball court right now. I tell you that.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'd rather wrestle because I'm not moving. I'm not running.
No, I'm not.
I'm just he can pin me all day.
Pause.
Look.
Pause. You set yourself up for that one.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. Because I started it with wrestling, and wrestling is a sport. So I said I would give up. He can pin me all day.
You can try to say this however you want.
I started it with a reference of wrestling. Okay, all right. I didn't just strategically say he can pin me all day.
This is not the third time you said it, man.
You know, I'm dealing with some dudes that's got some disturbing minds. Seriously,
you're in the same club.
Nah, I don't do that stuff.
All right. Let's talk about greatness, Eddie. So let's just move on. To wrap this show up, listen, as you all well know, EJ is a very big LeBron fan. You know what? I won't even categorize you as a fan. I'll just say that you really, really appreciate what he has done in his career.
Greatness.
And he's great. And listen, 40,000 points is an amazing feat. 21 years in the NBA. It is just unbelievable what he has done. And I will say this, EJ, for the longest time, I've always said Michael Jordan is the greatest. And I still will always say that because I feel like at their peak, MJ was just the greatest basketball player I've ever seen. Now, will I say that LeBron is up there in terms of his greatness as well next to Michael Jordan? Absolutely. But for a different reason. I think the longevity, the height, and the level of play that LeBron has played for the duration of his career is just something I want to say we'll never see it again, but we probably will, or we might not. I don't know if we'll be alive to see that, but there's going to be another guy. And MJ said that back in his day, like there's going to be another me someday. And LeBron is as close as you're going to get right now. He's just on another level, man.
Yeah,
he really is.
Here's why it's never going to be another LeBron playing 21 years, scoring 40,000 points. Here's why. Unless they create like robotic legs for guys to just don't have to exert much energy to go do it. Because guys are getting paid too much money. And they're not going to have a desire to go 20 years because they're making so much money.
You got to love the game.
You got to love it. And the kids that we see come into the league right now, we don't know to the level they love the game because they have so many other things on their mind that can take their interest away.
Well, they've also been groomed.
And they've been groomed, but like, for instance, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I stopped playing video games a while back, especially when I played. I didn't play them that much. I was very concentrated. I like to read, play cards, but I tried to stay away from Nintendo back in the day. I do the little Mario Brothers, my kids. I had kids. I play with my son all the time, but I kind of got myself away from it. And I tell you, over the last 15 years, I got Xbox and everything hooked up on my big screen and all that, but I never messed with it. Man, but I put that doggone Madden on, man. Man, I'm playing that Madden every day. I'm playing that Madden every day. And I'm going to tweet out my my ID for Madden. Okay?
Oh, you want to get some? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to tweet it out. I've been contemplating doing it, and I am. I normally just go on and play random. You're not going to know it's me. I'm pretty good at it. But I love football, and I'm playing it all the time. Can you imagine what video games are going to look like 10 to 15 years from now?
Yeah.
Can you imagine technology, what it's going to be like 10, 15 years from now? These kids right now are so smart. They are so smart because they're spread out. Like, I was isolated. I'm sure you were too. When I decided I wanted to play basketball, that's all I did.
Yes.
That's all I did. And in today's world, they do everything. Like, you got, NBA players now, they got their own companies right now while they're playing.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's doing a podcast. It's like, it's so many things that can take their mind away from it and introduce them to new things that what happens is you fall in love with that next thing. Like Draymond, like, he has to do his podcast every damn day. He's fallen in love with that. Like, and that's okay. He's a champion and he seems to be able to handle it. Most people can't. But that's why I say it's not going to be anybody like LeBron. Like, that's going to just go for it. Like, even now when he's a billionaire, right? And he's still going at it like crazy. Like, who does that? I haven't seen anybody do that. Like, I had to play an extra amount of years because I wanted to make more freaking money.
Yeah.
They're not going to be playing extra years to make more money per se. Yeah. Like, I love the game, but I was like, man, I can still play it and I can still make the little money that I made. Guys today make more money in a half a season than I made in my whole career, 17 years. So that's the drive. And LeBron is weird, man, because this dude, he continues to play, although having $1 million opportunities just to go speak. He can go make the same amount of money he's making playing right now. LeBron James can go make just doing commercials and speaking and doing something else.
If not more.
Yes. He's losing money by playing. And so I don't see anybody doing it, man. And I just think it's crazy for a guy that supposedly couldn't shoot, a guy that couldn't do this, couldn't do that, but was a great player, a chosen one, to be sitting up here with 40,000. No way I would have said that early on in his career. I don't think you would have said that either. No one would have said that. And that's why it's tremendous. And he's given us 21 years of his life, people. Keep telling people, appreciate, man. This is short-lived. I hate that Larry Bird only played 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
I hate that Magic only played 12, 13 years. Like, this man is giving you an extra 9, 10 years, going to give you a couple of more. You got to enjoy it. We got people out there on Twitter, man. This dude, Apex, I'm not going to even say the rest of it. This dude, every day, and you guys can follow me on Twitter, JumpShot8, and you'll see, because I comment every now and then to him. I get on his nerves. But every day, he's putting something negative about LeBron on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the dude is halfway kind of smart because he does his research a little bit. He says some dumb stuff, but he does come up with some stuff. But my point is, he's spending every day trying to find the negatives of a guy that's going to be one of the greatest players ever. And he's putting negative tweets out every day about him. And I'm like, dude, he's giving you something to talk about. You know, that Nick and Poop on Fox every morning. I don't want to say his name because I don't like him. But he's built his career about negativity about LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Enjoy greatness, people. It's not going to be there forever. Like, enjoy KD right now. He's 35 years old. He's not going to be around forever. And to me, knowing KD, he'll probably retire like that and won't give any warning. I don't see him as a guy that wants to go around and be celebrated.
No, I think he'd just be done.
He's just going to quit.
Yeah.
So, man, if you're a Suns fan, celebrate that greatness that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Telling you, this life is short, man. I'm making jokes about Medicare. I'm making jokes about it because for the life of me, I retired at 40. And I just cannot believe I'm sitting here and getting ready to turn 65 in a month. I can't.
Yeah.
And I don't feel any different than when I was 40 and when I am now. I don't.
Yeah.
That's scary junk, man. And so, like, you know, enjoy it. Stop being so critical. But get ready for November. That's all I'm going to say. You talking about a country that's going to be critical and separated, get ready. And you all know what I'm talking about. I might shut my Twitter off. Seriously. In November.
I think a lot of us will.
I'm serious. In November, I am telling you, I might shut my Twitter off. I've been very opinionated politically over the last few years. I'm not going to be. It's a waste of time.
It is. It is.
It's just a waste of time. It really is. And it's going to get really bad. And so I just pray for everybody in that regard. You know, I don't care who you vote for. I don't care who you support. All I care about is just living a good life and a safe life. That's it. And that's what LeBron is doing, and he's doing it on the basketball court. People enjoy it. That's all I tell you. Just enjoy it.
There we go. There we go. No, thanks for sharing that, man. Like, I listen. LeBron James is a phenomenal athlete, philanthropist, you name it. He's been doing it, and he's been doing it for 2 decades plus, and he'll continue to do it until the day he retires, and probably well beyond that as well, because he's a good speaker. He knows the game. Obviously, he probably will own a team. So yeah, just enjoy every minute of it. And listen, I think one of the things that I do love about Suns fans is no matter what the opponent, they all appreciate great basketball, at least from my perspective and the ones that I've interacted with. And everybody in this chat represents that. They just love good basketball. And when somebody performs at a high level, they can respect it. You hope it's not against the Suns, but, you know, hey, if LeBron came out and was, you know, had an unbelievable performance, you just got to tip your hat and you move on, and that's just what it is. And I think we've all been there and done that several times too much against our team, but you know, we could still respect it. So listen, there's a lot of stuff going on at the PHNX website. You got to go to gophnx.com/events to come to our next event, which is the Tea Party. You got to come out March 23rd. We'll be over there at Dobson Ranch with this new golf simulator, playing a bunch of different games. You have an opportunity to win prizes. We'll have a long drive competition, various other games, a putting competition, and we even have a basketball hoop out there for a 3-point competition. So if you want to come get some, come get some. We're ready to go. So it'll be fun. So go check it out. gophnx.com/events. Get your tickets now for that fun event. Food and beverage will be out there as well, so you don't want to miss out. Eddie?
I'm going to get Bill Simmons on here next week. I should call him while I'm on the air. But I'm gonna call him soon as I get off, and I'm gonna try to get him on because he's a little water boy that's got a little basketball knowledge though. He does. He's a smart guy.
Well, we can't wait for that. For Jump Shot 8, you can follow him at Twitter and on Instagram. You can follow me at Saul_Bookman on Twitter, on Instagram as well. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. You got the pregame and postgame show tonight for the Suns-Raptors game. And apparently there's this surprise announcement today for the Suns at around 3 o'clock, so you can stay tuned for that as well. Until next time, we love y'all. Peace.